What's the point of music? Don't know. It's not always to have fun. It's not always to have fun. Sometimes it's to help people find themselves, because music is frequency programming. Music is frequency. What frequency are you being fed? I will hope before they go pull some negative shit out this conversation, they pull this part of the conversation, and then see that I'm really actually helping people, bro. Let me be detailed. At 15 years old, I was doing sound engineering. So I was playing with frequency. I was playing with equalizers. Now, I figured out that hertz is to understand the frequency vibration, right? So there's kilohertz. There's hertz, kilohertz, megahertz, right? And then I think it's ultra hertz. If I play with those frequencies, right, I can target certain parts of the mind. Target the frequency to go to certain parts of the mind, and I can literally, like, if I want you to astral project, right? You know what astral projection is? No. If I want you to astral project, or if I want you to go to sleep, or if I want you to go into a meditative state, I can make my music do that. Target certain parts of the mind. Target the frequency to go to certain parts of the mind, and I can literally, like, if I want you to astral project, right? You know what astral projection is? No. If I want you to astral project, or if I want you to go to sleep, or if I want you to go into a meditative state, I can make my music do that. Witchcraft, love chant, witchcraft.
Astral projection is a spiritual practice in which the user is able to induce an out-of-body experience in themselves via meditation. I have been studying astral projection for over 2 years now, and have had experiences with it in the past myself, and I have known it to be primarily Luciferian practice. In this video, I have compiled what I believe are 5 very compelling testimonies of the dark, satanic implications of using astral projection, as well as 2 celebrities that I have seen to be both involved with astral projection and Luciferianism. The celebrities that I will be talking about today are recently deceased rapper XXXTentacion and singer Lana Del Rey. The reason I'm making this video is because learning about astral projection and Satanism was one of the biggest steps I took in understanding the spiritual world and leading me to become a Christian. And I believe that if you are not with Christ, then you are unfortunately with Lucifer, which will ultimately lead you to being forced to take the mark of the beast. You will not have a choice in this without Christ. To be able to astral project, you need to first open your third eye. I have been deeply apprehensive about even making this video because I don't want people to try this. This video is a dire warning not to try this. Successfully engaging in astral projection is a great way to lose control of your mind, lose control of your thoughts, and this factor does not discriminate. You might think you're extremely strong-minded, but once you open your third eye, you have opened the door to entities much stronger than you to take control, and you won't even know it. You will be welcomed to a world of spirit guides that will claim to be a positive influence, but these entities are not good entities. They are malevolent spirits who are behind the horror stories of Roswell and any other alien abductions you may have heard of. There are no such things as aliens. These entities are the aliens you hear about, and the realm they come from is the demonic realm. At this point, I understand that things coming out of my mouth might sound completely unbelievable, which is why I encourage you to research the topic by yourself, but with caution. I strongly advise against taking anything anyone says positively about this practice seriously. They are deceived, or worse, they are intentionally lying to you. You will hear things like, with astral projection, you can tap into your God consciousness, Christ consciousness, or become your own God. That's what the entire New Age movement is about. What they are calling complete and total enlightenment is actually the exact opposite. It is a trap, and it's the greatest trap we have all heard since we were children. It is exactly the apple that Adam and Eve ate from in the Garden of Eden. In this story, Lucifer appears as a snake, tempting Adam and Eve to the tree of knowledge, saying, if you eat from this, that you will become as gods. The following testimonies are from people who have either had this knowledge and power, or have known people who can do this. They are excerpts from my documentary, which was taken down at almost 9,000 views, which was very upsetting for me. I want to say thanks to everyone who thumbed up or left comments. The documentary is still available on a link in the description, and it gives a very in-depth explanation of Lana Del Rey's involvement with Luciferianism, how she became famous, a lot about astral projection, and of course, the mark of the beast. But anyways, let's get on with the video.
It's gonna crack me when I see it.
This is Jezebel.
Our first testimony comes from John Ramirez, a warlock from the Bronx, which is the same place Fordham University is located.
A warlock. I was being trained with witches that were in the religion for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years. They was training me to learn how to speak to principalities, spirits in the ground, the devil himself. You couldn't speak to the devil right away. You had to earn your right to speak to the devil. To the point that I was able to sit with the devil like I'm sitting with you today, and the devil manifests himself in human form. Or the presence would come into the room, and I would speak to the devil all night long. I wanted to take off the devil. The devil said, "You want 1 year off? I'll give it to you." He took my eyesight. And that's the world I lived in. If you mess with the devil, he'll kill you, he'll kill your family. It was a fear that will grip you beyond measure, that you could not leave this religion. You could not leave Santeria, you could not leave Palamanyumbe, and you could not leave spiritualism. The doctors could not explain how I lost my eyesight. The channel powers. At the age of 13 years old, I was astral projecting my body. I would leave my body home and go to regions and go into the spirit realm and curse dark side, curse neighborhoods, put spirit of prostitution, spirit of drugs into the neighborhood, homosexual spirits here, demonic spirit here, spirit of murder, spirit of suicide.
Hi all. Okay, I want to make this brief. There was a lot that happened in this 2-week period, but I'm going to try and make this as brief as possible. But this is how I came to God, which was I started dating a Satanist, which I didn't know he was a Satanist at the time and didn't have any idea about demons or angels, or I was completely in the world. Thought that everything that I saw around me was it. There was no spiritual realm. Psychics were just deceiving people in the mind around sleep. I didn't realise at this point that sleeping was actually him astral projecting. I'm going to explain that later. But then I also started to get sleep paralysis. And during the times of sleep paralysis, I would see him walk into my room. He wasn't in my room. I would see him walk into my room and climb into my bed. And I was lying there, paralysed, freaking out, going, someone is in my bed. And this is where I want to expose the astral projection, because the New Age sites, the spirit science, the wake-up world, they're all promoting getting you to do astral travel. And they all say sleep paralysis is the first part of your spirit leaving your body and to push through it. No, they are controlled opposition sites. Do not get into astral projection. I have done it once. I thank God I was determined to. I wanted to know what it was like. Look, it was a pretty cool experience, but I thank God for keeping me protected, because the more I've found out about that realm since, is that is a demonic realm, and you can get seriously hurt in that realm. Do not do it. Sleep paralysis is not the beginning of astral travel. Trying to get you to do this. Oh, it's wonderful. Let's go and fly in the air, and let's go and do this, and this would be great for you.
Flight. Probably the best part about astral projection. You'll probably just want to fly all the time.
Yeah, and unless you actually research the people that got attacked in that realm, that is not good, and it is completely against God.
That the Ascended Masters or Lucifer's hierarchy wants them to go. It's all deception. All the political affairs are pushed that direction. The media is one of the biggest sources they have in Hollywood to persuade people these days. So things are moving along a lot faster. Originally, the plan was to be completed by the year 2000. It's not there. It didn't get. Obviously, we're not there yet. Little by little, and then they tell me that they're trying to get me to think. They're telling me I didn't want to tell you this Luciferic teaching because it is so deceptive. I don't want to leave people to even consider the possibility, because it is totally false. But it can just sweep you right off of your feet. Some of their teachings of who Lucifer is. People will fall for it. So Lucifer, they told me, when my mentor talked about him before I met him, gosh, I thought she was in love with the guy. It was weird. She was just all dreamy-eyed and just like, it's like all syrupy.
Wow.
And so I think that maybe they presented me to him for me to meet him to see if I would be attracted to him, and maybe I would see his beautiful, beautiful side, and that would be so alluring to me. And it was very interesting. Yeah, and I don't even like to talk about too much about it because it's almost like I can almost sense him if I start thinking about him, talking about him. He was very beautiful. He came across as being very handsome, perfect, everything, perfect body. I mean, he was just, what he emanated from himself was everything that every woman would ever desire from a man. In super, like a Superman sort of a thing. It's every need that she would have wanted from a mate. That's him. He makes, in fact, all the masters have this ability. For a woman, you feel like you're the only person out of the entire world or universe. They could have any woman they wanted, but you're like me. I was the only one they wanted. That was like they don't see anybody else but me, and never would. It's like that dedication. So it's like, even though I knew he had that for everybody, I mean, even the men sense that about him. Mm-hmm. It's hard to turn down. Mm-hmm. It is. It's hard to turn down. He's beautiful, and I found myself wanting to be in his presence, wanting to find out what he's all about. His personality was just very intriguing. They were talking as if it's like, we are going to be in power, and you will have a position. I was told that I was to meet, they wanted me to meet this one. So out of body, I was with my master. I have this written about on my blog. I've mentioned on another program. There's a lot of confusing things they're going to be throwing out at everybody.
Wow. So they're basically, right now, they're creating chaos so that they can bring in their counterfeit solution.
Yes.
So to truly understand Satanism in Hollywood, I recommend watching this video I made a couple months back. XXX Temptation comes from a whole clique of SoundCloud rappers that I'm sure if you've heard of him, then you've probably heard of Lil Uzi Vert and 6ix9ine. All three of these rappers, and also Lana Del Rey, praise the devil with their stage names alone. If you say Lil Uzi Vert fast, you're saying Lil Uzi Vert, which is Lucifer. 6 and 9 are occult numbers, which is why he has them tattooed on his face. XXX Temptation means 666 temptation. And Lana Del Rey roughly translates to the Light King, since Lucifer is known as the light bearer in the Bible, and actually Lucifer means light. The quick version of Lana's story is she joined a cult while she was studying metaphysics, and in that cult she learned how to astral project, and had experiences very similar to CAROLYN HAMLETT, the lady who talked with the fire in the background. She hints at astral projection in her music and videos. I'm not going to get into everything here, there's a whole movie about it.
Fly like a bird. Blue eyes and Jackson attitude. He lives in California too. He drives a Chevy Malibu, and when he calls for me, not for you.
I think that's all I want to say in this video. I don't want it to get too long, but I just want to seriously warn against anybody thinking about getting involved in this practice, because it is a satanic practice. You will one day face the consequences if you get involved with these practices. In closing, I'd like to say keep watching these videos if you're still feeling skeptical, and good luck in your search for the truth. God bless, and have a good week, guys. Ciao.